tires. Yes, you thought that would be the story, but no, it's not. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our post-race conversation after the Cookout 400 here at Richmond Raceway. It used to be called the Action Track, Michael Massie. It still is after tonight. And, wow, so much to talk about, but we have to ask the question, fair or foul? We're right here. We're in pit road, but we're staring at the start-finish line. We can see where Denny Hamlin hit the wall right here, where he got what appeared to be right-reared. Just to go through it, Austin Dillon was well on his way to a win. Caution, overtime restart. Logano beats him in turn 3 and 4 over there. Dillon moves him. Hamlin is able to take advantage of it, but then Dillon comes down. I would say it's a right rearing and puts Denny Hamlin in the wall and goes on to win the race. There were 2 very angry drivers you talked to in pit lane. One happy one we saw definitely in the press conference. But Michael Massie, fair or foul?
Well, first off, is it 2024? Did we accidentally get in a time machine and go back to like the 1990s, 1980s when a 3-car was wrecking, like number 11 with Darrell Waldrop behind the wheel, or a Penske car? It felt like a blast from the past seeing a 3-car wreck some people to win. I think, though, it was foul, but it's not anything that Dale Earnhardt ever did. I think the move on Logano is something Joey would have done himself.
I agree. I think the argument comes down to the move with Denny Hamlin, because ultimately it was a right rearing.
It was a right rear, and we've seen penalties for that. You know, we saw Chase Elliott, Bubba Wallace get suspended. So should Austin Dillon be suspended for it? I mean, the only difference is it's a lower speed. It's a short track, so the speeds are lower. So, you know, it doesn't look as bad.
And it's for a win. These were nowhere close near for wins.
Yeah, those were retaliations. And that's the thing is, like, it seems like NASCAR penalizes people if it's, you know, anger, if it's a retaliation type deal. But when it's for the win, I mean, this is their whole system, right? This is what you're supposed to do for the win to get in the playoffs. We just saw Austin Dillon
go from 32nd
in points, and now the worst he could possibly do is 16th in points. That's quite a pay bump in the end of the year points fund. But Denny said, you know, he couldn't really blame Austin for he put it more on NASCAR for not enforcing these rules. Austin's more just a victim of circumstance in that the system rewards going for the wins, so why should he not do that?
Yeah, I don't necessarily blame Austin Dillon for what he did, necessarily. I just think it put a really big judgment call into NASCAR's hands, and Elliott Sawyer post-race basically said, like, it went to the line, possibly could go past it, we need to look at it. So there could be a penalty come Tuesday. Do I think it'll take a win away, necessarily? No, it will not. But good news, if that happens or whatever penalty happens, you get to see our beautiful faces right here on this YouTube channel for Happy Hour, live 7:30 Tuesday night, reacting to a possible penalty. I think Joey Logano will get one for his actions. I think roughly like right here behind us.
A little burnout.
For his message, I will say, to NASCAR and Austin Dillon. But it overshadows kind of 2 big storylines that you and I were talking about, kind of crafting our message before a really dumb wreck by Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I believe and Ryan Preece right in front of Austin Dillon. But this was Austin Dillon's best performance in his Cup career, and I feel really good in saying that because RC said it, Just Alexander's crew chief said it, and even Austin Dillon said it. They were the #1 team in practice. They qualified really well, and then they ultimately end up with the win. And if it wasn't for that caution, it's not like he was third at that caution and then broke through for the win. He was the best car on yellow tires at night, like he said in the post race. But he was he was the best car at the end of this race.
Yes, absolutely. I was saying all along, this is the best race he's ever ran. Just because the other races, it was circumstances. Like the Coke 600 fuel mileage, he wasn't really.
Things had to break his way perfectly to win those races. I think is the best way to do it because it's not like I think of Texas for example. He went and won that restart.
Yeah.
And same thing for you. Fuel mileage is still part of driver skill, but here, he was up front all day. And he won. He had to pass Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin, I believe, twice in that last cycle to do it.
Yes, and it was an incredible performance. Because the just pitting a little later than those guys put him back behind him when he had just passed them, and he sure enough went on out there and passed them again. And it was a complete weekend. He was fastest in practice. He was fast in qualifying. And just all night, he had 398 laps of brilliance. I guess you could say, the whole way is brilliance if you're in his shoes. But some other guys might.
2 laps of controversy is a good way to put it. Other storylines from this one. Well, Austin Dillon wins. He's 32nd in points. That knocks now a guy you could argue, what if he right-reared someone? He would be in the playoffs right now, and that was a race. Ironically, we were having this conversation at Kansas when it was Chris Buescher. He is now out. He had a bad pit stop, and it put him back tonight. And then Ross Chastain was solid on the night, I would say. But you got to give a lot of credit to the guy that now is back into the playoff picture, and that is Bubba Wallace. He's 3 points to the good, and he's caught up really to Ty Gibbs, who's at plus 12 to the good. 4 men, 2 spots down the stretch. But, Massie, final question for you as we wrap up this post-race conversation. There was 2 tire compounds this weekend, right? People forget about all of that. And it was funny when they asked Elliott Sawyer about it. He, jokingly, do you think the finish overshadowed the 2 tires? I think it was a home run. This was a better test pool than North Wilkesboro because you get tire wear here at Richmond, not at a newly paved track. You look at Daniel Suarez and Michael McDowell. The red tires early basically made their night. It took McDowell, who was 1 point a lap down, to get a top 20 finish. It gave Suarez essentially a top 10 finish and a stage win. Overall, your thoughts on both the yellow prime and the red option tire?
It worked great. Goodyear got it. I'm so proud of them. I've been very critical of Goodyear this year, so I need to give them their dues.
Just this year?
Maybe a little past. But I need to give them their dues because they did a great job tonight. We had 2 different tires. When I saw Suarez and McDowell put on those red tires for the first time and come charging through the field, Suarez wins a stage because of it. McDowell gets into the top 10. He finished 15th. Before that, he was a lap down. He had just gotten the free pass before he put those reds on, so it completely changed both of those guys' nights. And it was just so cool to watch just all the different strategies. And I talked to Chris Gabehart afterwards, and he was like, my mind's spinning. Because, it's like the crew chiefs had their work cut out for them tonight. Richmond's already a tough one for the crew chiefs because you got to think, when do I pit? Do I short pit? Do I go long? All this stuff. And then you throw in different tires on top of it. They earned their paychecks tonight. And I think that, this was the most entertaining Richmond race that we've seen I don't know how long. I'm so proud. Please bring these tires back. Let's do this again. Martinsville, Phoenix, anywhere else you think it'd go great. NASCAR, Goodyear, good job on these tires. And
I would say at minimum, a lot of drivers like the red option tire as maybe a permanent tire. Maybe you do that for the postseason races because I don't want to say it involves a lot of chance, but you don't want to go away from the norm. And not having a lot of time to get used to it to build for a postseason is something to keep an eye out for. But that will do it for here in the 804. Don't worry, folks. If you love our voices and love our thoughts, we'll be joined by Davey Siegel and someone else. We'll find out. Happy hour this week, Tuesday, right here on the Frontstretch YouTube channel. Make sure you check that out or wherever you get your podcast because it's also a podcast. Speaking of podcasts, more reaction to this race, Stock Car Scoop. Tino, he typically hosts Through the Gears. Now he is hosting Stock Car Scoop this weekend. He'll have that, plus great reaction. All the quotes from Denny Hamlin, I believe Gabehart. You'll have Joey Logano. You have Austin Dillon. You'll have everyone for your article at frontstretch.com. We're signing off from now from a great, great weekend at Richmond. And, folks, for us too, that is possibly the best thing to say. And before I forget, our socials at M_Massie22, at Trey Lyle VT. If you want to hear Richard Childress' reaction to hearing the audio post-race of his team, at Trey Lyle VT. I have that video for you. Him and Matt Weaver have a interesting interaction. We'll leave it at that. Signing off for now. Thank you so much for all the coverage and tuning in this weekend. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and everyone have a great weekend, and enjoy the race in Michigan next week. It should be interesting.
The Vivid EV Anthem is the essence of American spirit. Made with lithium battery technology, this neighborhood electric vehicle features vibrant colors, diamond stitch seats, and seats up to 6. It isn't just made in America, it's made for America.
Jared Haas with Frontstretch.com. Come back soon for more great racing videos. And if you like us, make sure to hit that subscribe button.